Okay, market opening up. I put the only damn thing in the queues that's up. Hood still pushing. Let's see how we looking on the Apple position, man. Pushing to the upside. It's up 600 this morning. Up 650. Up 730. What is it looking like on the chart? Still testing on. Up 700. We up though with Apple. There we go. There we go, Apple. There we go, Apple. Up 1,500 on the position. There we go, Apple. I think I'm gonna take that right there. Let's go. We'll take it down, man. It's a nice trade. I think Apple gonna keep going, but it's not getting the assistance of the market. Everything else falling. I don't want that bitch to come down with it. So we closed that out. The Apple position was up, I think 1,500. I'll go back and see what we made off of that altogether, but yeah, I think we're probably gonna start seeing a little bit of resistance and a pullback, because it's not getting the assistance of the rest of the market. The Qs is falling, and they are liable to continue because we gapped up a few times here, a few gaps. So the path of least resistance, especially in tech right now, is to the downside. Although Apple did get a nice pop to the upside this morning, it's already starting to pull back. I think that was a nice exit. We outside of the bands on the hourly. So we're liable to stay flat, if anything, but I doubt that we continue higher today anyway. So made out good on Apple. I get that posted in the group and in the games. Procter and Gamble is the other position that we're currently in. It got a nice pop this morning. I want to say the Procter and Gambles are up about 170, 180. Yeah, they're at 135. They was up a little more than that this morning, but they're at 135 altogether so far on that position. Got those out till September 19. So we're chilling in Procter and Gamble. See how that position plays out. Apple still coming back down. AMD, all the other tech stocks, AMD, Nvidia, Google, everything else is cooling off right now. So McDonald's or Mickey D's still going. Mickey D's still going. Yeah, that was the move that at double bottom with bullish divergence. Bullish divergence was on the lower time frame. But yeah, this move here with bullish divergence on let me turn this down. The move right there with bullish divergence on McDonald's here was a good entry. I still think we're gonna cool off and come back here and get a head and shoulders pattern. Only because it's just starting to round up off the bottom, so it's not gonna continue straight up from here. We're gonna see some resistance, and then we'll have another opportunity to get in there for swings. Let's go to the bigger time frame. We may catch like a dip back here to create some bullish divergence or something like that. So just waiting to see what we get out of McDonald's and see if we're gonna get that opportunity. Meta has been cooling off. with the tech sector. Microsoft's cooling off. Um, yeah, all of that is expected as the Qs cool off. We could come back to fill this gap at 144 on the Qs. Um, if we break that, then we could fall towards this 200 MA and this 126 where it gapped up. I'm sorry, my bad. That's Reddit. We got 531 as the first gap on the Qs, and then the second gap was 488, but that's down there past the 200. So that's a stretch to come back and fill this gap, but we could definitely come back to fill this one here that's up at 531. I can see that. Um, let's see what we got. Apple back climbing. It's still chilling up though. AMD, Amazon is cooling, but I like Amazon to catch Amazon on a dip buy. Um, I think we may come back to retest these highs and then just continue. Amazon don't stay down. Once it gets rolling, I ain't gonna say it don't stay down too long. It will come down with the market, but once it gets rolling, it gets some momentum behind it. We kind of been pushing over the last like 2 months, so it's about time for us to get a little bit of a breath on. It's about time for us to get a little bit of a breath on tech. Boeing. Let's see how they looking. We were looking at positioning Boeing, and they popped Friday. They cooling off from that surge on Friday. Um, let's look out a little bit further. Yeah, that was a nice opportunity on Boeing early last week, mid last week. About a $12. Actually, it popped more than that. It popped from 197 up to 214. So got about a $17 move on Boeing. That was on our list last week. I got a few new stocks that I'll be putting on the list today that I'm looking at. Some targets to watch. The main story on the market though is the big beautiful bill. We waiting on that bill to get passed and see the reaction from that. I'm somewhat thinking it's gonna be a negative reaction on the market. Only because we already at all time highs and there is some negative commentary on the bill. They just they waiting on the Senate to pass it, or Senate to put forth their version of it, and then if everybody's in agreement, then it'll go ahead and get passed. Um, I don't see it being a big. I see it making us money over time in the country. I see it bringing a lot of money back into the country, and between taxes, tax cuts, and the different laws that are going in place that's kind of like setting up the framework for us to continue higher, like Apple. um, Coin is cooling off from that massive surge. We expected that. We might have a little bit more room to fall back to this 300 area, but we had these gaps up in previous highs, and then we can continue to round up from there. Um, I wouldn't expect it to come down too far because Coin's target has been raised to like 500, so that's that's gonna be strong. It's gonna be hard to catch Coin coming back down to these areas. What else we looking at? We ain't looked at cybersecurity in a while. We got a cup and handle on art. Yep. I'm gonna draw that up right here on live. Matter of fact, we got a cup and handle on art. Um, Let's see, we'll go here. We'll get something like that. Then we'll get us another one. This is what we're looking at on CyberArk. Cybersecurity is starting to make a little bit of noise. Um, because the deeper we get into tech and crypto, especially crypto, we're gonna need secure platforms and wallets and stuff like that. So cybersecurity is gonna continue to gain some momentum during this phase. This is a nice cup and handle on Arc, and Arc is my favorite cybersecurity stock. But yeah, that's a textbook cup and handle on Arc, and we'll draw it out to show you what we should expect. Let's see, we get those bounces here, bounce, bounce. Then we get into this handle, and we get one more bounce before we coming up out of here. What we usually get on a cup and handle is a breakout, a retest, and then a surge about the same distance from the base of this cup to this line here, which is let's say we got that was $115. So that's kind of what we can expect up here. The same move. Once we break that resistance, maybe $115 move to the upside. Yep, somewhere around there where that arrow is. So we're expecting a move to the lower 500s on CyberArk based on this analysis with this textbook cup and handle. Um, how we were entered it is once we see the confirmed breakout, we expect the retest, and it may not come all the way back to this line. It may just retest this level over here. But once we see that breakout with increased volatility, which look like it's already starting to pick up, and this is on the daily. Wait for that retest, and then we start establishing some positions to the upside. I'm glad we looked at that. I didn't notice that on CyberArk. So that's a nice cup and handle position. A nice cup and handle formation on CyberArk. Draft key. Walmart.
Yeah, we just called that bit last night in the group. It's up to $99 right now. I know it don't move like that, but it's pushing.
Yeah, the only
I
thing
got
with Walmart, they contracts don't pay well. Cause I looked
yeah,
into a position last week on Walmart. Um, you know, Walmart gonna always do their thing. They gonna recover. And I looked at them, and I think I might have even bought one. But when I started looking at the simulated returns, it don't move enough, and it don't have enough volatility in the contracts to give you them real gains. What you could do with Walmart is swing though, deep swings, because they're not gonna be expensive. If you catch it down here at like a 200 MA, that would have been nice to grab some 90 calls out to the end of the year or something like that. Um, that would have been nice. But them short moves, like we can see it about to make a move, we just ain't gonna make too much money off of it unless you go heavy. Oil is still cooling. We was saying oil was gonna cool off when Exxon was up here at 116. It's down $9. Once they did the ceasefire, that go ahead and went ahead and gave us the go to bring oil on down. Nvidia, um, yeah, it's cooling off. All the tech is cooling off except for Apple. Um, I think a lot of bread is going. shifting over to Apple like we was talking about last week. But at the same time, it's not gaining the assistance of the
The
market.
market.
Yeah, if the Qs was pushing right now, like if the Qs was up $2 instead of down $2, Apple would probably be up $4 instead of 250. It'll be up here somewhere, probably retesting these previous highs over here. This is where I wanted to trade this to. This 215 over here. I just don't know how things are gonna go when this bill drop. It could give us that pop, and then we start ranging, and then continue higher. But we'll see how it plays out. Definitely not a bad move. This morning with the exit. We exited higher than what we had yesterday on the pop. Uh, Profits. Where we at? That's the sale.
Okay, Tesla, I see it.
You getting anything on Tesla?
Yeah, some lottos. I ain't want nobody in the group to get in any lotto plays, but I'm up a little bit on them. I got some way out of the money. They were only like 50 cents a piece, but I'm up like $50 on them right now. But if Tesla keep pushing, it could really, really pay. Um, so, but they lottos way out of the money. I ain't want nobody to risk it.
Okay, okay. Um, we might drop a section in the group though for lottery picks. I think I had one
Yeah,
like that for high risk trades.
cause
Let's
it was
see
too
what
low,
we got
man.
on
It was
those. Hold on, what we got on
seven
here?
on the RSI. It was um 9 on the TTM squeeze. It was way
Oh, that's
under the
forecast.
bottom Bollinger Band. And like you said, we were expecting buyers to jump in at around 307. It got down to like 290 something. And sure enough, it did a triple bottom at 293. So I bought a couple of lottos and so and let's see if they keep buying.
You got calls?
Yeah, at
Okay.
that triple bottom.
Just watch it because it got below the 200 MA.
All right.
So to it's gonna have resistance at the 200, and being that our level that we was looking at was at 308, it got clean past all of that.
Yeah.
It got clean past all of that. Yeah, we were just talking about that downside and the gap potential gap fill. Um, I have the potential gap fill from way back here when we was looking at it. What is? Oh, this is a 5 minute chart, so that wasn't that long ago. That was just like last week. It's deep on the RSI on the hourly too, way outside of the bands. Yeah, that was a nice move. On the calls, I don't know how far out you went on the
No,
strike.
it's just gonna be a quick gap. If I get 150 out of it, I'm good. I'm done for you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
I
just
got
a
you.
little lot of that's
This
good for 50 cent calls. You know what I mean? 50 cent what's the name?
this was a nice move right here, man. This morning, it's way outside the bands on the hourly. Definitely could have caught a scalp at the money call out to like 2 weeks. That would have been that. I know that paid. Like already, that done paid this morning.
What's that?
Like a 2 week out call at the money that paid this morning.
Mm-hmm.
That's up nice this morning from 293, 294 up to 298, 299. Those paid nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Apple still pushing, cuz Apple up $3.40.
Wow. It's gonna pull the market, man. If it keep moving like that, it could pull the market.
Oh, it's gone 360. That's nice. Alright. That was a couple other ones. Yeah, they gone. They up. Yeah, Apple up 360 today. Yeah, we got right around 208.30. It's at 208.60. I like it. Procter and Gamble is up 200 on that position. That was a nice entry. Man, Apple up 380.
Okay, Tesla just crossed 300.
The Q's bounced. Look at the bands on the 15 minute. They bounce off the bottom. It's going towards that 20 MA. I'm still cautious up here. Because we at all time highs, and at any point in time we can come back to retest some of these levels. Um, you got to be cautious on the upside.
Yeah. Give me a second. I'm gonna step away from the mic for a second, bro.
We're gonna jump off. That's pretty much all for the morning brief. Going over a few of them positions. We can go look at some data. I mean some
Look at RTX. Somebody had wrote. Look at RTX.
I ain't see it.
Adrian for the group.
I can't see the chat. They wrote it in the chat.
Nah, he had wrote it to me. I told him to chat on here.
Oh, okay. Let me put the chat back over here. See if it'll come up now. Nah. Yeah, he did write that over there. I couldn't see it. My chat wasn't up. RTX.
Well, Tesla didn't play it. Let's go.
RTX. RTX probably is coming finding some support because it probably been falling since this ceasefire. RTX popped again yesterday on Monday. They popped up, not much. They popped like $1 and something. Look like RTX ready to cool off though. To be honest, I can see RTX coming back down to these 142, 141, somewhere up in there. As we rounding off, coming off of that Bollinger Band, we coming off of the upper. Not not too crazy on the RSI on the higher time frames. So it really is like in the middle. We just got above at 20 MA though on the 4 hours, so we could continue higher if we find support here. It's just we kind of up here in no man's land, so we don't have much to base that off of. But we did just break above this 20 MA, and we could continue higher to that upper band on the higher time frames. So you're talking about like swings. You want to give it time. Short term, we could get a little drawback down to 141, and that would be a nice entry, possibly for. Let me see what 141 at. Yeah, we drop down to 141, then that's definitely gonna be a nice support back here, retesting these highs, especially if we come down to 138. So we'll see how that play out. Keep an eye on RTX. What about Lockheed? They're in the same industry. Friday was a nice dip. It dropped to 451. It's at 463 now, and they've been doing the same thing with this range. So they Lockheed's probably gonna continue higher to around this 479, 480 level. Um, it's been ranging all the way back. You talking about this is back in March. It's been ranging right here in these bands. Especially when we get a nice dip like this, you can buy those. This ain't quite like those, but it's still a nice dip and swing. Because if you would have bought it down here, 451, you'd have had about a $12 move so far. I like defense. Pepsi has been pushing. Pepsi done finally broke through that upper band. It been ranging, ranging, ranging. We was trading this. We caught at least two of these. This one would have been nice though, from 127 up here to 133. That was a nice move, and Pepsi don't really move like that, so I think that's an official breakout. If we get a retest, it might be a good opportunity to get in there with Pepsi. I think we was a little early on that, but Procter and Gamble's in the same boat as Pepsi. That's the like consumer staples. Let's go look at consumer staples. Yep, Pepsi right up here on consumer staples. They one of the top returning consumer staples in the last 5 days. Procter and Gamble should be in here too. Yeah, Procter and Gamble's back here, but being that they right in the middle in the last 5 days, they can work their way up to some of the top returning companies in the consumer staples sector. Consumer staples been down over the last month and flat over the last 3 months. It's down on the week and it's leading on the day. So that's a signal that we could be shifting over to consumer staples. Some money could be going into that industry. Not industry, that sector. I really think that a lot of the consumer staple companies are gonna get a lot of money flowing into them right now because they aren't affected as much by a lot of the things that's going on. Um, you gonna buy Pepsi all summer. You gonna go to Walmart. You gonna go to Target. You gonna buy candy for Hershey's. You gonna buy Coke. You gonna keep cleaning with Clorox. All of these companies, that's why they are considered consumer staples because they are a staple um, in the economy. As a consumer, you're gonna use these. Campbell's company with soups and snacks. Kroger, you're gonna shop at Kroger. Um, Monster. So yeah, all these companies, Walmart is in there. I think we're gonna start gaining some momentum in this sector, as well as IWM, the Russell, the small cap companies. I think we'll begin gaining some momentum over there too. Let's see what the Russell is right now. Today, uh, it's fighting to get over that 200 on the 4 hour. On the daily, I mean, it's still there at the 200, but on the daily, look like we may have a rising wedge forming on IWM. To be honest, I want to see how that plays out. We might get a little pullback on IWM. We've been pumping for the last few months with the market, so everything's been going over the last 3 months. Uh, it don't spot again. And this is the time to be real cautious with your positions. Man, look at Apple, cuz
That's it.
it's up 380.
Man, I don't know why you sold, bro. You just said yesterday you wasn't gonna sell. We seen it push up.
Yeah, because the yesterday when it pushed, and it's still pushing, bro. It's up $4.
It's gonna go to
Yeah, yesterday when we seen it put, but to be honest, bro, it's sitting way outside of the bands, bro. Like anything will have it draw back down to where it came from. You won't see that type of price action nowhere back here where it stays outside of the bands the way it is right now.
on what time frame you see it out of the band?
I'm looking at the hourly and going back to
Yeah,
all, and
I see it.
I'm going all the way back to April. When they get outside of them bands, we work our way back in naturally, and it hasn't been outside of the bands like this with three, and I'm going all the way back to this is early April.
It still got some room on the 5 minute to
Yeah, the shorter time frames, they get back in them fast. Um, I'm trying to get an idea of it on the bigger time frames.
yeah, on the 15 minute and the 30 minute it start inside of it, way out of it. So yeah,
The
and it's
hourly, the
making
two
a
hour.
swing point on the 30 minute on the RSI. So yeah, it's about to come back down.
And on the 4 hour, the whole band is outside. The whole bar, that whole candle, I mean, is outside of the bands. We ain't had a 4 hour band outside, 4 hour candle outside of the bands. Um, you going way back, like last year.
Bro, I'm up 61% on those lotto.
Yeah, that was a nice buy on that dip on Tesla. As that one, just like that's the same thing to the other side. It was way outside of the band. Now it just got back up to the bands and it touched it right here. Um, on the 4 hour, it got right back up there and touched that bottom band. But that was a nice move because of how deep, like outside of the bands we were on that, especially the 4 hour. That was nice. Same
And it's
thing.
good that the group is actually paying attention to what we're telling them because Raymond just wrote in the group. He seen that triple bottom. He wasn't even on the live because I didn't post it, and he made the same play. So that's letting us know that everything that we're teaching effective, bro. Yeah, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't just pop. I'm up 72% now. Bro, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's a
Crazy.
nice move on Tesla.
I can see Tesla getting back up to 315, bro, by the end of the day.
That's a big ass move.
I can see it happening, dog, because they buying right now. They are buying.
It still ain't in the bands on the hourly. It's still sitting outside of that. That was a nice move though. It dropped down so far.
Uh,
It skipped over everything we had on the chart. It jumped clean over everything that was on the chart.
uh, why is, oh my god. We're gonna have to cut it.
Yeah, Boeing look like it might come back down.
Day?
It might come back down a little bit. What other news? We still in greed, so that's good on the fear greed index. Um, yeah, I exit off of it. I was trying to see what news we got. I know we don't have nothing major really this week. Look at that and we'll jump off. Close
So you
out.
can get the 305, baby.
Close out some of those. Alright. What we got tomorrow? Non-farm employment, crude oil, and then Thursday. Is the market closed on Friday, right? For 4th of July?
Yeah, I think so. There you go, Tesla. Get that 305. Let's go, bro. We just got $10 left, bro. I think it can go, bro.
Let me see. That's a nice ass push on Tesla, cuz I ain't gonna
On
hold
the
you.
2 minute, the top Bollinger Band is at 314. It's coming down though. It just moved to 310. On the 3 minute, it's still up at 324, and it right now is at the 20. It's at the on the what's name, bro. I think it's gonna get back up. I think it's gonna close the gap, bro. Bro, them lottos could go crazy today, bro.
What what's the target?
I'm gonna get out in probably like 310 or so. That's gonna put me over like if it get to 310, that's gonna put me over like probably like close to 200%. I should have bought a bunch of them, bro. I only got like 4 or 5 of.
You did it right. I mean, you can't know you're gonna get that type of
Yeah,
move ahead of time, but that was a nice play though because of how deep that was on all charts.
yeah.
Yeah, that was a nice move. We gotta start trading them more often when we see those, cause we've seen those a few times.
But it helped with the Bollinger Bands though, dog.
Yeah,
Cause
it give you a
it
better
helped.
visual. It definitely give you a better
Cause
visual of what's going on.
I would have bought puts thinking it's gonna keep dropping. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody in the
Amazon.
group just made some money.
Uh oh, I ain't see this. I got 155 call for 155 call at 718. Should I hold or go ahead and take the loss? On what?
Who is that?
Adrian Forder. I got a call for 155. What stock? He talking about
Um,
Tesla? No, I can't be talking
no,
about Tesla. Talking about 155.
nuh-uh. He just posted something in the group about Apple.
Yeah, Apple gone. Well, it's coming back a little bit now, but it done made that move. It made a nice move already. It's up $4 on the day. We got out when it was right about here. It was at about 208.16. It's up like $1 from where it was when we got out. We got out at like $3. Um, I like that though. I like that trade. I ain't gonna cop. I ain't. I like that trade. I'll be stretching it if I say I feel like it's just gonna push through all of this. Cause the 4 hour is at 70 on the RSI.
Hmm.
The daily is at 65, 62 on the RSI, which it often um, rejects from that area historically. Going back to 2023, it often rejects around 60 to 65 on the RSI on the daily. So I'm just going back off of back testing. It's gonna come down. Like it's not gonna go straight up, bro. It can't.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna see how it plays out, and I wish I had those 210s though. Remember I told you that 2 weeks ago or last week? Like Trap is in 210s out to December. I noticed that last week on his show, and I was in 220s out to November, no September. 220s out to September. So the 220s was a little bit more of a stretch, but them 210s, oh, they eating on the 210s. Yeah, it's coming down some. It's down to 350, 349, 346. It's starting to cool off some. Let's see what Tesla looking like. It was so low on the RSI on the 5 minute that it's still just not getting to 37 on the RSI on the 5 minute low time frame. It had dropped all the way down to 8 on the RSI on the 5 minute.
That's crazy.
So we're gonna be watching consumer staples to find some opportunities. That's where the Procter and Gamble play is. To be honest, I think this one will play out pretty nice. We tapped the top band on the 2 hour chart, but we still got room to push to the upside on the 4 hour chart, and especially the daily. We got plenty of room to go to the upside. So we're gonna try to hold this one out to the neckline or at least the 200 MA, where we'll start to see some resistance depending on when we get there. I think I got these out till September. Still saying I got the Apple Play, but I know that's gone. They got these out to September 19th. They are 190, and we just got in those yesterday. So that's what we're gonna be paying attention to, and these some of the chart patterns that we'll be getting out on the YouTube. Um, Other than that, just keep an eye on the market, manage your risk, and stay active, shooters.